Rolls-Royce asks for $500,000 for a car. The engine inside. It shares its architecture with a BMW 7 Series. Same DNA, different badge, and a $500,000 difference. They never told you that. They still won't. This is what Rolls-Royce has been hiding from you. Rolls-Royce doesn't sell cars. They sell mythology. The most silent cabin on Earth. The most exclusive address on 4 wheels. But mythology, by definition, is not the full truth. Today, we tell the full truth. Under the hood of every Rolls-Royce Phantom sits a 6.75-liter V12 engine. It's smooth, silent, and extraordinary. But here is what your dealer conveniently forgot to mention, that V12 shares its fundamental architecture with BMW. You see, Rolls-Royce has been owned by the BMW Group since 1998. The engine begins its life in Munich, not in the famed workshops of Goodwood. Now, does BMW build bad engines? Absolutely not. BMW builds some of the most exceptional engines in the world, but you weren't told you were paying for a BMW engine. You were told you were buying something entirely separate, a piece of automotive royalty detached from the world you already knew. You weren't, and that's not a scandal. That's a silence. A silence in a $500,000 transaction that feels a lot like its own kind of lie. So, if the engine's soul is partially rented from Munich, what exactly are you paying all that money for? You're paying for the body, the unparalleled craftsmanship, the 450 hours of meticulous hand assembly, the 17 individual coats of paint, each one painstakingly polished by hand. Those things are real. They are truly extraordinary. The problem is, the core they sold you on, the very heart of the machine, isn't quite as exclusive as they'd have you believe. Let's talk about one of Rolls-Royce's most iconic features. The Starlight headliner. It's made of 1,344 individual fiber optic strands, all hand-threaded into the ceiling. It takes 17 hours to install. It transforms your car's ceiling into your own private constellation, and it is genuinely, breathtakingly beautiful. But here is what they don't show you in the glossy brochure. If a single one of those tiny fiber optic lights fails in overtime, one inevitably wilta entire headliner assembly must be replaced. It cannot be repaired. The cost for this replacement, anywhere from $10,000 to $15,000. For a ceiling, for one star going dark in your personal sky. Rolls-Royce knows this. Every single dealer knows this, but it is never, ever mentioned during the sale. Did your dealer mention that before you signed on the dotted line? Of course not, because the ceiling looks perfect in the showroom. The invoice arrives much later, at your home, when nobody's watching. And what about those famous coach doors? The ones that open in reverse. They are pure theater. They signal arrival like nothing else on Earth. When those doors swing open, the world literally stops to watch. But here is the engineering truth behind all that drama. To create that effect, those doors require the complete removal of the beeple. That's the central structural column that runs between your front and rear doors. In a conventional car, it's the primary barrier protecting you in a side impact collision. Now, Rolls-Royce engineers are brilliant. They compensated for this by heavily reinforcing the frame rails and adding extra structural support throughout the chassis. The car meets every single global safety standard. But the original pillar? It's gone. Sacrificed for theatrical effect. Nothing in this car was hidden by accident. Every single detail was a deliberate choice. The real question is whether you, the buyer, were ever invited into that choice. Let's look at the numbers. A brand new Rolls-Royce Phantom can lose between 40 to 50% of its value in just 5 years. This isn't entirely unusual for ultra-luxury vehicles. What is unusual is the deafening silence surrounding it. No dealer ever brings this up. No brochure ever addresses it. In the showroom, everything is presented as permanent, timeless, an investment for eternity. But on the balance sheet, nothing is. You buy it for $500,000. Now, none of this makes a Rolls-Royce any less extraordinary. It remains a most thoughtfully assembled, beautifully crafted object most humans will ever have the privilege of sitting inside. The silence in the cabin, the satisfying weight of the door, the hand-stitched leather, none of that is a lie. But there is a massive difference between excellence and mythology. Rolls-Royce builds both, They sell you the mythology at the showroom door, and they keep the fine print tucked away for themselves. So now you know what you're actually purchasing. A machine this perfect deserves to have no secrets. And yet, it is full of them. The real question is, does knowing the truth change anything? For most people, strangely enough, it doesn't. They'll still want one. And maybe that is the ultimate hidden feature of a Rolls-Royce. It's so desirable, it can even survive the truth. If this video opened your eyes, subscribe to the channel. Every week, we pull back the curtain and show you what the luxury industry doesn't want you to see. Our next video goes even deeper. You won't want to miss it. Thanks for watching.